But that's enough talking from me. What I'd like to do now is we're going to jump up with a speaker from Michael Cluff, who is the New South Wales Corporate Volunteer of the Year. He's going to tell you his story.
Okay. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for having me. It was supposed to be Fiona up next, but you've got the less attractive version, so you're going to move into Fiona next. So I think I'm probably preaching to the converted if you're in this room today. So what I'd like to do is probably just share some very personal reflections and talk about how I got into volunteering and the background to that. So recently I was asked to give a few quotes for a story on one of our internal websites, and there were a few questions thrown at me, and it was great because it gave me time to reflect about why I got into volunteering and what I get out of it and where I'm going to go in the next couple of years with it. So if you'll just bear with me, I'll just talk through some of that. So my motivations for actually volunteering stemmed from a very early age. I had great role models. So my parents were a very giving couple, and they used to say, if you actually want to make someone happy or make yourself happy, you've got to first make someone else happy. So within that, excuse my running nose, I've got a very bad cold, and it's running faster than Usain Bolt at the moment, so just bear with me. And they put that into practice every day, and it certainly rubbed off on me, that ethos of giving back. So that's where I got it from. And what do I actually get from volunteering? Well, I certainly get a sense of purpose and a sense of achievement. A lot of the projects I actually get involved in mean something to me, and I think that's the trick with volunteering. It's got to mean something to you, otherwise you don't actually keep going with it. I get terrific levels of satisfaction, the odd blister, also the notion that things that are little can matter in very, very big ways. And you never take anything for granted that you do, because it will touch someone somewhere. Usually it's, the usual wall-to-wall smiles of appreciation and the ooh-ahs, but you don't do it for that. So what do I actually do, and how did I get started? Well, I haven't actually followed a particular volunteering path, but as I said, I've got a few passions in life that I like to actually connect with, and they are gardening and landscape design, food and eating, as you can see, and also project management, which is my day-to-day job, which I love. So I've been able to very successfully, I think, merge all three of those together and do a few projects. So a recent one that Nathan and the volunteering team hooked me up with was actually Cerebral Palsy Alliance, and we took a very unused, unloved backyard of theirs and made it into a bit of a wonderland with soft falls, so it was good for therapy. The kids used to do all their therapy originally inside. We got them out into the playground, and it was fantastic. And I think it summed it up for me. On the day of the opening, I saw a little able-bodied 10-year-old kid going up to a kid in a wheelchair. He didn't know him from Adam, and he was in the wheelchair sort of looking at this drum, and he grabbed both his hands, and he couldn't connect with the actual baton himself, so he grabbed his hands, put his around, and they did it together. And they did that for about 5 to 10 minutes, and they just weren't really talking. They were just belly laughing and shrieking and carrying on. And so whenever I think occasionally, well, why do I do this hard graft, or feeling a bit sorry for myself, I just think back to that moment and say, it's definitely worthwhile. It's not about you, it's about other people. So also, Nate asked me to reflect on how the Commonwealth Bank supports volunteering, and what's that meant for me. Well, it's meant a lot of things, not only the RIDE project, but also we've got a project going down in Victoria, which is an all abilities park, so children who are disabled play next to able-bodied kids, and through play they actually connect. That's a wonderful initiative, and it's out where it's most needed. So it's like the equivalent, I suppose, of Cabramatta in Sydney. It's in St Albans in Western Melbourne. I was also lucky enough to go on the Jarvin's comment last year, so thanks to these guys, I got a Guernsey to do that, and that's very rewarding as well. So our CEO, Ian Narev, who you saw up there, he's extremely passionate about this, and he doesn't see it as just something we like to do. He says this is our obligation to do. So if you've got a CEO driving it like that, you can't ask for better than that. Look, I think that's about it from me. So I also, whenever I think about things, there was a great Maori proverb that I always have in the back of my head, and when people have all these worries, and you usually are volunteering with people who are less fortunate than yourself, I think it goes something like, and excuse me if any of you have heard this already, but instead of worrying about the clouds on the horizon, you need to start to learn how to dance in the rain. So I think that says it all from me, unless anyone's got any questions. No? Okay. Thanks for having me.